G'day, g'day, welcome back. Got another video here of a ZD30 Di doing some mad things. Did a little bit of work to it and some tuning up. Had another video up a couple of months ago where I said that we didn't really want to do too many more ZD30s, and people have been hitting us up saying, oh, you're not doing ZD30s anymore? But we are. Yeah, we're just also doing a lot of newer cars. Just tuned a Triton over there this morning. And yeah, trying to focus on other things, which we have been doing the whole time, but we just like making ZD30 videos because I own a lot of them. There's Utzilla in its new form, coil converted on 35s now and looking schmicko. But yeah, little video of this Di making 200 horsepower, some road runs on it. It's a whole lot faster now, probably twice as fast, if not more. Especially in the higher end, it just keeps pulling, it's crazy. And it will be back for a torque converter upgrade as well, so yeah, enjoy. I always forget to say in the videos to subscribe, so yeah, hit subscribe, it supports us and you won't regret it. If you've seen any of my other videos, they're quite enjoyable and there'll be more, so hit subscribe and you'll get a notification when we get more videos, and it just supports us because then we have more subscribers. So if you don't subscribe, you might get a visit from the bus man here.
Come to your house, I'm going to break in, I'll turn your computer on and I'll click subscribe like you should have done already. What are you thinking?
Alright, we're just cruising around, getting up to operating temp. We're going to go to the dyno and do some runs. Show you how slow this thing is in stock form though. Standard. It's already got the big turbo on it. It's got a snorkel and big airbox, exhaust. None of that makes a difference without the tune. So yeah, once the tune and our injectors go in, it'll be tuned to the larger injectors. We'll be getting some real gains out of this thing and it'll be flying. And they're super reliable as well. With our injectors in there, we've found that other injectors have caused pistons to get cracks in them, but our injectors are very good quality. They make great power and don't cause any cracking. We have had guys come in with larger injectors and tunes and complaining that they still don't have enough power, and we've put our injectors in and it made huge gains over their previous setup. So yeah, just goes to show, go the right injectors, and our injectors are the ones to go 100%. Here's a little snippet of the after run. I did the calculations while editing. It was like 8 seconds from 0 to 55, and after it was tuned we were doing it in 5 seconds, so huge gains speed and power wise there. This is another super tidy Di ZD30 that we've done. Similar mods, same injectors, a little bit more conservative of a tune. It's over 200 horsepower to the 35s. Super neat and tidy like all of our builds. Doesn't matter if it's a Di or a VDJ cruiser. We always have great attention to detail, and our workmanship's second to none. And yeah, we've colour matched this guy's rocker cover when we built his motor, and everything's 100% in place. He's even got a hot water system in there as well for his shower. Alright, back to the Gold Series 4. This is the ultimate ZD30 Di wagon, I reckon. That one there is pretty cool, but this one here is even better. It's got the Malu seats in there, big Polaris head unit, super flash. And then all the supporting mods ready for the tune and injectors. JM Fab airbox, intercooler, big front mount, and the G260 turbo is already on, ready to go. So we'll get stuck into it. We'll start with a base run on the dyno. This will be such low power, we won't even need to strap it down. We've just got the wheel chocks in there. There's the results, absolutely dismal. It's on 285 75/16, so just smaller than a 33, which is super weak source. I'll stick some bits in it and we'll report back, eh? I did have the strap on loosely because I didn't want to run ammo over. But yeah, really didn't need them. It was loose, it didn't pull up on the strap at all. Didn't even try to ride up the wheel shocks. All happening on this ZD, the DI. We've got a lift pump going in. So Ash is doing some nice fancy wiring for that. And we'll pull this rocker cover and intercooler pipes off, pop the big injectors in there and reseal the seals in that rocker cover. And then we can start tuning, make some nice power out of this thing. I think we'll replace this as well because that looks like it's going to fail soon. They do, especially when they look that colour. You can see all the stress marks because it's so old. His radiator's cooked as well, so we'll be doing that also. Lift pumps in. What's the beauty of these lift pumps, Ash, on the ZD30 DI?
Well, it gives it some pressure so the infamous grenade fuel pump doesn't cark it. Keeps it flowing fresh fuel.
Keeps them cool, hey?
Yeah. Try not to melt the computer, which is what fails. Gives it the name grenade.
That does all the damage, that's for sure. Pretty sad, because these motors are great. Just as reliable as the common rails, just kind of expensive to fix when the pump costs $3,000. And yeah, causes failures. Yeah, these VP44 pumps have really caused a lot of dramas because they're on many different cars, Ford Transits, Holden Rodeos or Isuzu D-Maxes back in the day. But yeah, they really perform a lot better with a lift pump because it flows fuel through it to keep it cool. So it stops the little computer in the top frying, which causes the timing to fail and yeah, metering to go off because they also pick up a engine speed from the pump. Cam speed is done through the pump, so if that fails as well in the computer, you have all sorts of dramas. The car won't even start sometimes. It's a real pain, so it's really important to hook up a lift pump on these to keep them cool and keep it reliable for longer. And yeah, that's what this guy's opted for because he's smart. Costs a lot, costs a bit extra, quite a bit extra to get this done, but it makes a difference in the long run. These are great motors. They handle plenty of boost. They make good power. You need injectors to make power because the pump's not really got enough in it to get any gains out of it. You can't just adjust it because it's all electronically controlled. You can get a little bit out of it, but then the injectors start holding it back. So yeah, it's important to put good injectors in and you can get some nice gains. Yeah, these pumps are controlled by an ECU in the cab, but they do have a control unit, electronic control unit, which is pretty much another computer on top of the pump in the hot engine bay. So yeah, it really helps to keep them cool. Also, good filtration is important, so changing your filter every service. Yeah, they're used on the 24 valve Cummins, in fact. That's just mentioning that. And yeah, people are reporting the same things. You know, good failure rate with these pumps. They like good clean fuel and they're not really modifiable. So same problems we run into on the ZD30. Here's all the bits laid out for the job. So we've got the rocker cover gasket, we've got the seals for the injectors, we've got the glow plugs and the spill rail seals, and also one for the filler cap. These are the RMR injectors that we use. So they're high flows and they're good for 250 horsepower, give or take. And these seals here seal through the head. I'll show you all that when it comes apart. Righto, going to remove these injectors and slap the new ones in. We're just going to remove this intercooler pipe here, and then we'll need to undo this breather so that the intercooler pipe can be removed. Then we can take the crossover pipe for the intake off where the swell flap is and remove the rocker cover. And then I'll show you what's happening in there. Show you what the injectors look like inside the engine and the return line and all that. On the DI, this is the swirl flap that people are always talking about. So this is the feed from the cold side of the intercooler into the inlet manifold. And that can close and it only pushes through half of that. So you can either stop the vacuum going to it to keep it held open with the spring, or take it out altogether. Yeah, normally you'd have to remove the top mount intercooler, which on the DIs is mounted to the engine, which is super silly because then it vibrates on your bonnet. So yeah, this is the map sensor. It's now just floating around. Might cable tie that up once we're done. And it's just plugged into a silicone hose, which is normal. These silicone hoses are a bit big actually, but we'll see what he wants to do there. And we're getting closer to getting the injectors out. Just got to pull the rocker off. Just going to rip some more stuff off, take this bracket out of the way, and then undo the rocker cover. That'll be the last thing before we can pull the injectors out. The guy that owns this car has a website and he sells a lot of the products on this car. So intercooler, airbox, snorkels and wiring and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'll put a link in the description for that. And yeah, if you want to go check him out, I'll have to go for a wheel with him when he's got his torque converter done. Go for some ZD30 fanging around in the dunes or something. And yeah, as you can see, quite a bit involved to get these injectors out, considering I've sped all this up and chopped a lot of the fat out. Here's the rocker cover coming up now, and we're into it. You can't even see through the front window, it's good. I can't see anyone in the car. What's that? You're saying you love me? Is that a love heart? I can't see through the tint.
It was the two fingers that I used to make that love heart. It was like this.
No, the kids these days call
Yeah.
it darky.
Doggy. Aren't you kids these days? Rocker cover's off now. You got to move this bracket as well. Take the 3 bolts out to remove that, so that the rocker cover clears that. Make sure when you glue the rocker cover back on as well, you glue some Sika on these joins. There's 3 joins there. 1 there, 4 rather. 1 there, and 2 on this side as well, for the timing cover. And there's your spill rail washers on the injectors that need to be changed, so they're going to come off for the injectors to come out. These are the retainers for the injectors, so we just undo these 12mm and then torque them to spec afterwards when the seats are all rectified and new seals are in there. We've also got to muck around pulling all these lines off under the manifold here, which is good fun, so that we can pull these just enough out of the way to remove these seals, because they slide out and then the injectors are able to slide up and out of the way. Yeah, everything's factory torque specs, so if you don't know the factory torque specs, go find a manual. Alright, so we're getting these injector seals out of the head here. This one's been removed, so the injector can come straight up now. We just had to remove the EGR valve to remove those lines, because they're clamped to the back of that and to the block down in there. And then it's just a matter of getting a screwdriver and removing those puppies with the lines out of the way, and then the injector can be bolted and lifted straight out the top. It's really important to put all this back together with new gaskets and sealants on everything. This had some EGR blanks in it, and we need to rectify the gaskets in there as well. And the reason for that is boost leaks, which is the biggest killer of the ZD30s, and also 1KDs, funnily enough. Probably a lot more 1KDs with these problems than ZDs actually. But that's how they got the grenade name on the DIs. So you can see here there's residue leaking down the bottom of that, where the sealing surface is not prepared properly, or a proper gasket in there where the blank was for the EGR valve. So we need to rectify that, so we don't have any boost leaks in a cooked motor later on. I've been meaning to make a whole video on boost leaks actually, because it's so important with diesels not to have them, because if you do, the turbo's overworking. It's overworking. If the turbo can't keep up, it's overfueling, which leads to cracked pistons and holes in pistons and scored bores. Yeah, it's just a bad time. So yeah, no boost leaks. This is a pretty clean engine bay compared to some of the other DIs we get in. The amount of oil leaks they normally have. It's the kind we like to work on. that have been looked after over the years. The guys have owned them. Often these seals will leak and there'll be heaps of filthy oil down there that drips down the side of the block and looks like a rear main leak, and yeah, people don't clean their engines properly, but this guy is good. So just undid the spill rail there. We'll take all that off completely and then bust these injectors out. This injector spill rail is all inside the rocker cover, so it's vital that you replace all these seals when you put that back in. They come in a kit, and make sure that they're torqued to spec, because if they leak you end up with fuel dilution, or oil dilution rather, from fuel in your oil, and that can lead to bottom end damage and all sorts of bad stuff. So now the injectors are out, the next step is to prep the sealing surfaces in the head. So we get in there, clean it all out, and we have a special reaming tool that we prep the seat with so that it seals properly, because it's important that they seal so you don't get oil down there and combustion gas coming back up through the top into your engine and making you think you have blow-by and actually just carboning up the inside of your engine. Another quick one, don't pump your primer while you're leaning around in here, because it will just pump straight out this return line into your engine. You'll get diesel spurting up there. So the seats are all clean now. This is the reamer I used. I wasn't going to show you because you really shouldn't be doing this if you haven't done one before. You can cut a lot of material out of the head with these. I just use it without the T-bar on it in most cases, because this is the T-bar for it, and you have to hold it very flat and just take away the dirt from the top of the seats so the injector can seal. To clean out the injector holes, I normally use some non-flammable brake cleaner, contact cleaner, which is for electrical use, and I spray that in the holes and then blow the dirt out and catch it so that it doesn't fall in the engine. And yeah, then that stops. If you use normal brake cleaner, it detonates when you try and start the car up and makes a horrible knocking noise, so you want to use the non-flammable stuff. Then we'll just be popping the injectors in, so a bit of azo on the O-ring there, a little bit of azo on the copper washer to hold it in place while it goes down, and then yeah, put the retainer back on, torque it all to spec, put the fuel return line on, torque all that to spec, and all back together. Injectors are in, just going to put all the retainers in and do them up by hand and then torque them, and we'll be on to the next little step there. So I just hold them nice and straight so that they line up with the port in the head where the seal goes through. So when you're tightening up these retainers for the injectors, you're going to make sure that it stays central inside this hole here. So you've got to just hold it in place while you torque that end, and then yeah, manufacturer spec obviously, put your rail on and all back together. If it's not manufacturer spec, we'll let you know. Sometimes for head studs and stuff we go tighter. There's the spill rail going on that I've been rabbiting on about. So just chuck it on top there, stick the new seals in there, the aluminium washers, and install little bolts or banjo bolts. Alright, so the surface is all cleaned here. When you're putting these back in, just make sure that spring stays there because they can pop off. So the spring needs to be on that seal to hold it to the injector. And then we just put a little dab of Sikaflex on these joins. And the rocker cover can go back on. Just chucking all the rocker cover bolts in now, loosely by hand, so that they're all started nicely and then torqued up to spec, of course. I should also mention, to fire this up again, once you're all done, you're going to have to bleed the air out of these injector lines. Being an electric mechanical pump, if there's any air in the lines, it won't be able to crack the injectors open. So I normally leave these all loose and then crank the car over till the lines are full of juice and they're spurting out. Then I close them all, preheat it and start it. On the hose stretch now, it's almost time to bleed it up and start doing some dyno runs, I reckon. Pretty keen. Next step up is to install the glow plug rail, so we're going to whack that on, put all the little nuts on and plug it all back in, and then at this point I'll crank it over with the intake off so that I can get to the lines and bleed all the fuel out, do the lines back up, start it up, and then shut it down and put everything back together again. So put the intercooler on top or whatever else. In this case he's got the front mount, so we'll have to put the intercooler pipe back on and connect the breather up, and then happy days. Alrighty, here it is. Been doing some tuning on it, made some significant gains. The back there we've got 200 horsepower now and 500 newton meters at the wheels, which is really nice to drive. We've already had a bit of a drive with it, road test, back on the dyno again now for some more adjustments. But yeah, makes me want to get a DI just because they're capable of so much. They're a cheap car, they're still a great chassis and body, they look sick. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be going anywhere. They're going to be a popular setup for a long time because there's just so many of them, and people are starting to figure out that you can actually make good power with them reliably. Like this one's got pretty low Ks on it. I think it's at 190, but the one behind me here has, oh no, this one here is 300, which is still low kilometers. This one here is 190. And yeah, we often see them in with 400,000 Ks on them. They've got no nads on them or anything, just straight from the factory. Sometimes the fuel pumps fail on them, which is quite an expensive ordeal, as I might have mentioned in other videos. But yeah, there's still a nice smooth running engine. I feel like the DI heads don't compromise as easily as the common rails, and yeah, they're still able to get great power out of them. Still a really strong bottom end. Just make sure you got boost in there and no leaks, and yeah, you won't have any issues with holes in your pistons like everyone complains about. Here's the data here. So blue lines are the tuned run. You can see it looks like a completely different car, judging by these graphs. Like that's the torque up there. That's the old torque down here. So it was like 170 newton meters. Now it's 500 newton meters. The horsepower was 83, now 200. And got nice safe AFRs there. Plenty of boost. Probably going to go a touch more boost. This hasn't got head studs in it, but they're normally fine up to 30 plus, so we're not going to touch that unless the client wants to. So yeah, significant gains there. And look how the horsepower just carries to the end of the run. It was dying there, now it just carries it. It's real fat through the back there, and that torque curve at the front is just insane. It's like new car power. I shouldn't get this excited about ZD30s, hey? Just, it's not natural. Let me know if I should buy one, and daily I'll sell my common rail ones, and I'll just get a DI, make sick power, and just upset people. Would be good. What do you reckon, Ash? Should we ZD DI swap the Gladiator?
Oh, making them low numbers, maybe.
Oh yeah. Fuel economy and all that power. Gladiator's going to chop up. Don't mind the old ECU on the floor there. We've got it right directly to the EEPROM, so no OBD port tuning here. Old school. Just to show you it wasn't a fluke, there's another run, even more power. Loving it. It's like ZD fuel economy with TD power and an auto behind it. Bloody beautiful. Goes to show you can make sick power even with a DI. Still costs quite a bit of money to do, but yeah, they're reliable. They don't use too much fuel. Even when you're flooring it around, it's going to use less fuel than a tuned petrol like my Gladiator. And yeah, this guy is going to get a torque converter done. We've got one on the shelf that's built for this application because this one is starting to flare a little bit with 300,000 Ks on it. And it is a known problem with lots of kilometres on these that you need to get the torque converter done before it fails and sends debris through the transmission, and contamination destroys the transmission and you end up needing a whole new transmission as well. And the RE4 is a really strong automatic transmission as is, so if we can preserve it by fixing a torque converter, that'd be ideal. So yeah, we'll get that all sorted when we get time, getting back in, do the torque converter and punch a little bit more out of it. I get a lot of questions from people tuning these. They ask if the auto gearbox is any good in them, and it's common knowledge in the industry that these boxes are super strong. They take a lot of abuse. Like Sivan, he's making 400 horsepower with a stock box with a manualised valve body in it. I have a mate who's got one behind an FTE in an 80 series with patrol diffs, and he's making like 600 horsepower and 1200 newton meters or something crazy like that last time I checked. I've been in that car, it's crazy. Also manualised, full Keys built box. It's kind of hard to illustrate the power gains on this thing through the video when you can't feel the G-forces, but here's some footage anyway. And it's time to go home, so gonna get out of here. Cheers for watching. Like and subscribe, like I was saying. And yeah, if you want any diesel work done, RMR Diesel in Perth, come see us. Send us an email. Go to the website. Take care, brush your hair.